What's up, everyone? This is Sam, coach of your Great Lakes Grimsnarls, and we're coming at you early in the morning with mild bedhead to do a halfway through the season recap for the VBA. It's been a great season so far. I'm happy with how I've done personally. I think a lot of people are doing very well. In terms of records right now, it's pretty balanced, all things considered. But let's see here. So, first I figured we would just start with going over like the rankings right now. So, currently Alexandria Arcanines are the only undefeated team still. Very dominant. One of the stronger teams. One of the strongest teams right now by far. One of the strongest players by far. And yeah, I mean, he's the only undefeated team right now, so obviously he's doing very, 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 very well. Gardner Guzzlords were undefeated up till this point, but just last night they lost to the Rock'em Sock'ems, so they're now in second. Greedy Greninjas and I are both tied for third, I believe. It says 4 and 5, or 3 and 4, but I'm pretty sure because we have the same record, same differential at +4. Yeah, Sasori, the coach of the Greedy Greninjas, has been having a great season. His team is really scary. I play him next week, so I'll be posting that here later on this week. Rock'em Sock'ems, I mean, you can see here 2 through 4 or 2 through 5 all have the same record. The only differences are +5, +4, +4, +3, which literally means they all won and lost the same amount of sets, but that means they lost, or like Bubble Hulk won one more game, or lost one less game, I should say, than the Greninjas and the Grimmsnarls, and they won more. They lost one less than the Rock'em Sock'em. So that could literally mean week whatever, like let's say week 3, I get a 2-1 win, he gets a 2-0 win. Well, that makes the difference. So things are really close right now, and as the season progresses, things will spread out. And then we've got 4 teams at 3 and 2 right now, all strong playoff contenders. Top 8 makes playoffs, so I'd say 1 through, well, definitely anyone who's 2 and 3 can still make it. I mean, obviously, if the Krabbies came back and won all 5 of the rest of their games, they'd be 6 and 4, and that would clinch them a playoff spot, because 10 games in the season and 16 players, if you get 6 games, you clinch a spot. But these 3 down here who are 0 and 5, Melton Nuts, Island Dragons, and Fuchsia City Royals, they could still make it, because you can technically make playoffs if you go 5 and 5. But it depends on how well other people did, which if these top 5 teams who are 5 and 0 and 4 and 1 continue their trajectory, I don't think they will be. Or I think it might be hard. But I think anyone definitely from 12 and up can make it, and 16 through 14 can definitely clutch it out as well. Obviously 16 through 14, not including the Krabbies here. 16, 15, and 14, the Melted Nuts, Dragons, and Royals have a lot more to make up for. And the best they can do is a chance at playoffs, versus Krabbies and up can still clinch if they win out. So that's exciting. I like when races are close. I don't like it when, or to me, it's better that way. It's better to be able to follow things without like, oh, there's 2 teams on the top, 5 teams that are 0 and 5, and a bunch of guys in the middle who have no chance. Like, I don't like that. So I like that this is going like this. Sorry. So now we're going to look at some statistics from the Draft League NL website. So currently, um, it's kind of the biggest thing that people talk about in terms of like, there's a trophy for the kill leader at the end of the season, is the kill leader. And currently right now, it's still very close. Everything is within one kill of the next, pretty much. You know, things like Blaziken, Blastoise, maybe Arcanine aren't as close. I don't. It would take a lot for Blaziken to pass Cinderace or Glastrier. Currently my Cinderace is number one. I believe Wolfender also has Cinderace, but he just picked it up, I think. So it's not as high yet. Yeah, I mean, people know from talking to me, my goal is to keep Cinderace as the kill leader. I think that'd be super cool if I can make that work. Glastrier being number two is no surprise, especially on a team that's as dominant as the Arcanines right now. Absolutely not shocked at all that Glastrier has 14 KOs. And also keep in mind, this is after 5 games, so like that means Cinderace averaged 3 kills a week. Glastrier Heracross averaged just less than that. Heracross is complete. I mean, going into things, Heracross was a complete shock to me that it was this high. But seeing how Raz has been playing it, I'm not surprised. However, I mean, like, in the rankings, Raz was, like, he's 2 and 3 right now, so I mean, it's not that he's doing badly at all. He's down at 12th, or tied for 10th, but he's not doing badly by any means, but you would expect, I mean, to me, it makes sense for, like, I'm tied for 3rd, Arcanines are in 1st, Guzzlords are in 2nd, Rock'em Sock'ems are also tied for 3rd. It makes sense to see some of those more, like, currently dominating teams, but it's also really great to see some of the more middling teams on the rankings, like the Delmais, like the Scizors, like the Drillburs. So it's really cool to see, like, especially lower tier picks like Heracross. I mean, I don't think anyone would say any of these are really surprising, except for Heracross and maybe Incin, because people don't usually like use it offensively. But the Guzzlord's Bubble Hulk has been doing that really well. And then there's some other stats that I kind of like to look at. So I mean, most broad, this sheds a pretty good light, or a pretty clear light on like what some teams are going for. Island Dragons have brought him on top almost every week and almost every game, pretty much. Because I mean, actually now I'm curious. Okay, so they have 14 games total. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 12. So they have, oh yeah. So they have literally brought him on top every game. Dragapult for the Pittsburgh Steel types. No surprise that that's coming super often. Good. He's using it really well as a support. I think he's used it offensively a couple times as well. Again, Moltres, Clefable is the Clinton Clefable's mascot, so no shocker there. Terrain, Intimidate, Follow Me. I love this Blastoise. The Scizors have been putting in huge work with Blastoise. Cinderace is no surprise. Indeedee is no surprise. So these things, none of these are really shocking to me. Blastoise, I think, is great to see up this high. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is deaths per match. So by this, as in the lowest deaths per match wins. So Goodra has not been killed yet. Granted, it's only been played 3 times, so, you know, there's that to take into consideration. But technically, the death percentage is still 0%. Glastrier is really not surprising again. Torkoal, as you can see, Arcanine's dominating the first 3 slots on this list. Is, again, no shocker there. Tornado is awesome to see. Bronzong is awesome to see. Another Arcanine's Mon. Liepard, 6 and 2. You know, again, none of these are that surprising. Magneton is also really cool to see. But to be fair, this stat kind of strangely benefits things that don't get played that often. Like, you know, these things that are 3 and 1. Like, that is not as impressive to me as something like Cinderace, where I think I brought it. Actually, now I want to see. I brought it almost every game. Oh, I gotta go to my team page. Brought 10 times and it's 15 and it's died 5 times. So, you know, that's not as impressive as like Glastrier, for example. But alright. So some of these, you know, don't mean a whole lot to me. KD is kind of similar to Kill Leader. You know, and I don't think any of this means a whole lot right now. Like, I don't expect this to be the same at all. The Kill Leader slot, I don't expect that to be the same at all in a couple weeks. So, let's see here. I think now we'll look at just the individual teams. So we'll start with the Arcanines. We'll go over transactions and we'll go over kind of the MVPs and all that for each team. But we'll try to get through all of them here. I don't believe he's made no transactions, so that makes our job easy here. So, you know, Venusaur, Glastrier, Koko, Torkoal, Bronzong, Goodra, Mantine, Tangela, Behemoth, Frostmoth, and Thievul. Really great team. I rated this, I think, A tier in the first one in my preseason video. So yeah, I mean, he has not been getting work out of Venusaur at all, which is surprising, but also kind of not, because I think that I just think that, like, he has so many threats on this team that he really has to prioritize, like, when is he actually going to need Venusaur versus when is he going to kill stuff with Koko or Mantine or Goodra, or I think he even used Behemoth once. The only thing he hasn't brought is Frostmoth, which is not a surprise. Frostmoth is kind of trash. It works on his team, but I'm not surprised. My point is, I'm not surprised he hasn't used it yet. Behemoth with analytic and base 125 special attack hits like a truck. Obviously, we don't need to talk about Glastrier. It's broken. Like, it's only died twice. You know, no real need to dwell on that too long. He's been doing cool stuff with Tapu Koko and Thievul. He's running physical Tapu Koko usually, but I think he's run special a couple times as well. Torkoal he's been using as like a sweeper in the back, not even necessarily to support like a Venu in the front. Oh, that's what happens when I record at 9 in the morning. You know, Bronzong, he has been able to set Trick Room. From what I've seen, basically every week, Bronzong consistently comes through with getting Trick Room up, and it's really cool to see that he's been using Bronzong really, really well. You know, and then you get to some more. I mean, Goodra, again, not been killed once, and it's gotten 6 kills. That's pretty impressive. It's so hard to kill, like 150 Spadef. Like, whose idea was this? And then he's been running Electric Seed too, so like, 70 defense +1 is really good. He's been getting good offensive pressure out of Manton as well. I mean, its KD isn't great, but 3 kills with Manton is not bad, especially after 5 weeks. Um, Again, it's no surprise Tangela has gotten no kills. And then, Thievel's been putting in work. I know he's been running foul play, and that does really well against quite a few of the teams in this league. So, yeah, overall, I think this team is, obviously really solid. He only needs to win one more to clinch playoffs. So, really, I think it's safe to say he's basically guaranteed a playoff spot at this point. Looking at his end season matchups here, and I won't. He's beaten some very solid teams here, for sure, and his end season is not much easier. And again, when I refer to a team as like less of a strong matchup, that's literally just based on rankings. I'm not looking in detail at, oh, this has this and beats that. Like, I'm just talking about rankings. So don't take it too personally if I say like the team is not a strong matchup. Based on rankings, the Dragons and the Royals haven't won a game yet, so it's a huge disparity. The 5-0 team versus the 0-5 team. But the Guzzlords will be a big threat. The Teddiuses, and they'll all put in work. Don't get me wrong. So I'm excited to see what else Dan can do with this team. Next up is the Clinton Clefables. They are doing pretty well. So this team, Caparaja G-Max, which I don't love Caparaja G-Max because it can't max Steel Spike. That being said, Caparaja is still not a bad mon. He's been getting a lot of work out of Clefable. Let's see here. Yeah, Clefable and Blaziken have been putting in the most work by a decent margin. Salamence, but Clefable, he's been using it as redirector, but he's also been using it with Haunter. He poison jabbed into Clefable, and I thought that was cool. Overall, he's brought every mon, which I think is really cool. After 5 weeks, it's not always like the easiest thing to do. So I like that. I like that he is getting use out of all of his mons at some point. And look, Vaporeon only came once and it got 2 KOs. That's pretty good. Especially for Vaporeon, which is not the most offensive presence usually. Yeah, I like this team. I like what Rolo has been doing with the team. Looking at transactions, he has made transactions. So he traded. It doesn't say which week these were, so I forget. But he did drop PZ for Blaziken, Claydol for Salamence, Mandibuzz for Hunter. So I think these were good changes. I don't like Mandibuzz personally, so I like the Hunter pickup, and he doesn't have anything that, it's a Ghost type, it's a Levitate mon. Poison is a good offensive typing just because it hits Fairy. Blaziken was obviously a good pickup. I think, generally speaking, PZ is a better mon than Blaziken, but I think on this team, Blaziken makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense on this team. It also gives him a fire type, which I think is always really valuable to have. And like I said, Claydol for Salamence, again, I think this was a good trade. Claydol is a little weak, so I agree with that. I agree with all the trades this team has made so far. And if I disagree with a team's trades, I will say it, because I think that's kind of the points of me just giving my opinions on people's teams. Alright, the Corpus Christi Krabbies. So, to me, this team is really solid. So, he has, Inteleon G-Max, Heatran, Naganadel, Whimsicott, Gourgeist, Togetic, Pikachu, Rotom Frost, Graplocked, Maractus, and Skuntank. So he's currently 1-4 right now, so he is still in the running for playoffs. He's made 3 transactions, all of which I think were good transactions. Early on, he dropped Hippowdon for Rotom Frost. I think that's a good thing. I think he drafted Hippowdon probably for Dracovish to have Sandrush, but I think he realized later on that with Tailwind and the ability to run Scarf, he didn't really need the Sandrush boost. I mean, I didn't see him bring it that much, and he also traded this very early, to be fair. But I mean, and Rotom Frost is not as good as other Rotom forms, but that doesn't make it bad. Like, it's still a Rotom form. It still has really good base stats, and it has a good move pool. So I like this trade. Duraludon G-Max, you can ask anyone who knows me, and they'll tell you how much I can't stand what they did to Duraludon G-Max. I hate it. The max move is awful. It's absolutely useless. If you can get some use out of Duraludon's G-Max move, let me know. Because I don't think there's anyone out there who has ever done it. I just think there's no reason. I mean, yeah. It's similar to Caparaja, but Caparaja's is more useful, and that's kind of sad because Caparaja's G-Max move is not great. Dracovish for Naganadel, I also like this trade. I personally think Dracovish draws a lot of attention in draft. I don't think anyone would deny that. But I think Naganadel is not necessarily less of a target, but it's harder to prep for because it has more coverage. It's not just clicking Fishious Rend. And, he did a lot with Dracovish. He did cool stuff. He maxed Dracovish. I saw him clicking Leech Life a lot. I saw him using, I think, Psychic Fangs at some point. So, like, he was using other moves. It's not like he was only using Fishious Rend. But to me, it's like every move is so much weaker than Fishious Rend that every time you click a move other than Fishious Rend, you just feel really bad. Sometimes I even feel like even on resisted hits, that like it's just better to click Fishious Rend because it's stab and So yeah, I agree with this trade as well. And I didn't really talk about Inteleon G-Max. I personally don't think Inteleon is a super great mon, but I do think it's better as a G-Max than Duraludon G-Max. The ability is really cool to stop water absorbs and storm drains and all that. So I like that pick. Moving on to the Detroit Delmise, another team that is, I say that like everyone is still in the running for playoffs. So this is Toxtricity G-Max, Duraludon, Tornadus I, Azumarill, Darmanitan Unova, Venusaur, Heracross, Mr. Rhyme, Spiritomb, Charjabug, Sudowoodo. I want to talk about the transactions first. So he dropped Ninetales, which I was actually kind of surprised. And this was a more recent, it only becomes active today. So this was a more recent change, but I like it. I don't think you really, really need Ninetales to support Venusaur that much. And Darmanitan hits like an absolute truck. Like looking at his team here, obviously he hasn't brought Darm because he just got it. But everything else he brought. And I believe he did bring Ninetales at some point as well. I wish it told you the stats, but it doesn't. So looking at this team, this is actually a really strong team for Charjabug. Obviously Charjabug is not the best mon, but paired with stuff like Toxtricity and Duraludon and Venusaur, I like it. Sudowoodo, again, not great, but it's a tier 4, so you can't expect a whole lot. 14 and 8 with Heracross. That's really insane. That's really good. Duraludon has 7, Toxtricity has 3. Like, the fact that Heracross has more kills than Venusaur and Azumarill and Duraludon and Toxtricity is crazy to me. But it just goes to show Raz, the coach of this team, is a great pilot for Heracross. So overall, they're still really in the running for playoffs, and I like this team a lot. I'm excited. I kind of hope they make playoffs because I want to see Heracross in playoffs. Next up is the Dice Roll Drillbers. Alright, so I believe they've made a couple trades. Yeah, so they dropped Berserker for Driftblim, which was a good decision. 100% a good decision. And they dropped Darmanitan for Tangrowth, which honestly I think is also a good decision. And that was again recent. That doesn't go active till right now. So Grimmsnarl Gmax is great. He's been mostly using it defensively. He hasn't gotten many kills with it. Um, so he's brought everything except Tangrowth, which he just picked up, and Coughing, which is a tier 4, so that makes sense. I mean, the synergy is really great on this team. Like, Pincurchin is like a surprisingly really good pick, in my opinion. I think the only thing I see about it now is it conflicts with Tangrowth's Sleep Powder, but I don't think that's that much of a concern. I mean, just like Electric Terrain boosting Dracozold's electric moves, giving Driftblim Unburden, giving Hitmonlee Unburden is really solid. Stoutland and Gigalith is a great core. Gigalith Dracozolt is a great core. Pheromosa is insanely broken. I believe it's third in kills right now. Dusknoir is a great Trick Room setter, especially for a tier 3 that's really good. Tangrowth is also a redirector, you can't forget about that. So I like this team. I mean, clearly he's getting use out of everything. And I 100% expect Ruby or Sam to make the playoffs. Fuchsia City Royals, they haven't had the greatest season. So they did some pretty sizable tier changes. So in this league, you can only draft once or trade once per week. So you can't, you can't just drop a tier 4 and then pick up a tier 3 or like drop a tier 1, pick up 2 tier 3s or whatever. Like, you can't do that in the same week. So you need to be strategic with how you do that. And he's out of trades because you only get 3 trades per season. So Executor for Aromatisse, Aegislash for Ribombee, Wartortle for Guzzlord. I think this was a good overall change, and I definitely see this as more of one set of changes than one change, or than separate changes, because clearly he's moving these down in tiers to get Guzzlord, which is higher in tiers. So I like this. Wartortle wasn't doing a whole lot for him. Looking at his stats right now, Ndidi has been putting in work, not getting kills, but I don't ever expect it to, really. Machamp, I really like Machamp. It's a good 2-3 pick. He's been doing cool stuff with Shuckle. Like, I'm not gonna lie. He procced Weakness Policy on Guzzlord with Shuckle, and I freaked out. That was awesome. I mean, his mascot is Shuckle, so you kind of have to pick Shuckle. I think his stream picked his team for him, so there's that. But I love this team. This is a cool team. There's some Mimi stuff on here with Chansey, Ribombee, Shuckle, Porygon 2 can stall to Aromatisse kind of can too. So there's a lot of stall on this team, but I like it. It's a good team. So Gardner Guzzlord's 4-1, strong playoffs contender right now. They made trades. Excuse me. So Duocean for Bronzor is a very, very, very good trade. I believe Bronzor is bulkier or just as bulky. Gets Trick Room still. I think it's a lot better. Drampa for Sliggoo. I'm wondering what that trade was for. Because, I mean, he has free points now, I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. Huh. Yeah, I don't understand that. I assume he has some some kind of plan for that, but I'm not sure. I would have thought he would have made another trade this week that would have made that make more sense. But I'm not sure. Maybe he's just wanted to free up points because he wasn't getting much use out of Drampa. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to ask him about that. So we can see here, Rillaboom, Gmax, Incin, Finny is like basically, I call them the unholy triangle of VGC right now. They're very good. They basically exist to check each other on ladder and stuff. Rillaboom's just great. I mean, excuse me, sorry, again, 9 in the morning. Terrain control is super good. He has double terrain, so he's literally always able to change terrain if he wants to. Crobat, Scav, Sableye, Rhydon, Weezing, Bronzor, Magneton, Sliggoo. Like, everything here has a purpose to me, except, again, I still don't see the Sliggoo, but I think I'm missing something. So, I mean, yeah, I don't have much else to say here. Like, Incin's been doing a ton of work. Weezing has been doing some cool stuff. Rhydon. I just like this team. Like, I really don't have much else to say here. Alright, so now we're going to talk about my team. So, I have made 2 trades. I have not made my last one yet, which this is the last week for it, so I'm currently debating and figuring out if I'm going to or not. So I dropped Klang for Glaceon. I talked about this before. Sorry, guys. I talked about this before. I thought Klang got Trick Room, and it doesn't. So that's basically, it has served no purpose to me outside of that. There was also another Eviolite user combined with Clefairy, which I could never run them on the same team, and I almost always want to bring Clefairy. So I don't think it wasn't necessary. Glaceon is a much better pick. Freeze Dry, Icy Wind. I ran Scarf Set last week. It's already done some work. Golurk was not performing the way I wanted it to. I kind of wanted it to like serve as a Trick Room answer, but I mean the speed tier is like 55, so I couldn't really ever justify I could never really justify bringing that like as a Trick Room counter. I played it under Trick Room like once or twice. I played it with Iron Ball and it flopped completely against literally a team that had 4 mons weak to Ghost and Ground, and it just flopped. So after that, I decided I needed to trade it, and I am picking up Nidoking this week. Nidoking is a great, diverse mon. Like his move pool, he's not the most common VGC mon. Oh yeah, actually, let me not do that because I have teams building in there. Almost revealed my team for my next week against the Greninjas. So sorry, I caught myself. But I mean, like looking at Nidoking's move pool, it just like literally is. It's just almost jaw dropping, like all the stuff he gets. So Sheer Force is the ability you almost always pick. I can't even really see a reason to not pick that. So I mean, okay. So its stats good. 85 speed is not the greatest. 85 special attack and 102 attack seems weak until you consider the fact that it has Sheer Force. I mean, just look at all the max moves it has access to. So Sucker Punch is very good. Head Smash is pretty good. Those don't get boosted by Sheer Force, but it's still pretty decent. You never run Scorching Sands because it's just worse than Earth Power on this mon. body press, throat chop, high horsepower, uh, drill run, sludge wave, like earth power gets boosted by sheer force. Poison jab does, taunt, shadow ball does, um, outrage, sludge bomb does. So special sets are pretty common because it allows them to have a ground move that gets boosted. Because it doesn't have a physical ground move that gets boosted by sheer force. I wish it did. Um, T-Bolt Thunder, it gets like Y, Flamethrower Fire Blast, Surf, Ice Beam Blizzard, Thunderbolt Thunder. I believe all of those get boosted by sheer force except Surf. Um, yeah, I really like this mon. Like it's always been one of my favorite mons, and I've never really had like a super great opportunity to use it. So I'm really happy that I get to for the rest of this season, and I'm hoping it can put in work for me because I think I'll be able to pilot it well enough. Um, so yeah, looking at my team here, um, Cinderace, Clefairy, Spectre, Braviary, Liepard, Gardevoir, Luxray, Nidoking, Tentacruel, Serena, and Glaceon. So I haven't brought Nidoking obviously because I just got it. I have not brought Tentacruel. I brought it in my 6, but then didn't end up bringing it like on the team in the 4 for the match. It just didn't have the matchup. Um, so Cinderace is obviously currently the kill leader right now. No surprise to me. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I should have waited a couple hours to do this, but it's no surprise to me at all that this mon is doing so well for me. Clefairy has actually only come twice, and I felt weird about that for a while, but I'm just accepting it. Serena has been doing well, even though it basically lost me a whole set. We won't talk about that. Um, Spectre has not done a whole lot for me yet. I think there's some matchups coming up where it will. Braviary just got like 6 KOs this last week, so yeah, Liepard is an insanely good lead next to Cinderace. Gardevoir is a great like sash user to stop Trick Room. Luxray is a great intimidator. Um, yeah, overall my team's been doing really well, and I'm hoping I make playoffs. Okay, we gotta hurry this up here. Greedy Greninjas. This is our matchup this week, so you will see our match soon. Don't think. Oh, he's maxed out his trades. So, Araquanid for Oranguru. Um, I like this. Araquanid kind of sucks in my opinion, so I agree with that. Later, he drops it for Gastrodon, which I also agree with. I think Gastrodon's really great. Dropping Regirock for Marowak is... I think that's a move up. Regirock did some work for him, but I think it was not doing the damage he wanted. From watching some of his matches, I think that's probably what he was thinking there. Let me know if that's not. So sorry, but his speed tiers are absolutely insane on this team. Literally down from base 30 to base 130, or 29. I'm sure it was 29. So like, super great team comp here. Like, Snorlax is so terrifying. G-Max is insane. G-Max. Marowak Alola is crazy. Rillaboom, Togekiss. Like, this core of, like, these 4 is insane. Marowak, Rillaboom, Gastrodon is one of the best Firewater Grass cores in the league. He also has Kingler and Turtonator, which are also... Kingler does so much damage. Like, I couldn't believe how much damage it was doing. I watched his match against the Pittsburgh Steels types, and it did like 80% or something to a max Arcanine, like with a Crab Hammer, not maxed. It's insane. So yeah, he hasn't brought Gastrodon because he only just got it. But again, I don't have a whole lot more to say about this team. Just really good. So Island Dragons, we played this team last week. So he dropped Dragonite for my Milotic, I believe this was like week 1 or 2, so this was really early on. And this was definitely a good trade. Having Garchomp and Dragonite on the same team, in my opinion, is not a good thing. And then he dropped Garchomp for Dracovish. And Dracovish got freed up because the Krabbies traded it, so that's kind of probably partially why. But looking at his team here, he's brought everything except Celio, which I wonder if he's going to trade that away still, but I'm not sure. His Klinkling sets have been insane. One of the coolest things I've seen. Gear shift or shift gears with stuff like that. He brought weakness policy against me. Didn't ever get it off, but it was still really cool. Charizard has not been doing a ton. He got the first kill with it against Luxray, my Luxray this week. Dracovish my Lodic's been doing some pretty decent work. Lele, I'm surprised, has not been getting more kills, but he is currently 0-5, so I can maybe see that. But overall, like Hawk has some ground to make up for if he wants to make playoffs, but he's still in the running. All right, Lost Teddy Ursa's. This is coached by the Fifth Leaf, his not Paris Trap team. Dropped Alakazam for Gothitelle, which I still wonder if that was kind of a mental play to make people prep harder for Paris Trap. I know I prepped pretty hard for Paris Trap. Hydreigon for Meowstic Male, I think was good. Wobbuffet for Decidueye was also good. Wobbuffet is a useless mon. So yeah, his team is really solid. He's brought everything except Decidueye, which he just got, and Emolga, which is kind of bad. I like to see this kind of broad usage. I think that Gengar has been doing pretty well for him. Kartana, he doesn't have any like crazy high numbers on the broad, which means he's been bringing like stuff pretty evenly, which I like. And yeah, I think they're still a strong contender for playoffs. So moving on here to the Melta and Nuts, the other team that is 0-5 right now. No trades yet. I think they could really benefit from some trades. I think the team is good, but it could be a lot better if some things were tweaked about it, I guess. So Lepers, looking at this core right here, like these four, but then looking at the numbers, it's like you expect these numbers to be better. And that he has had hard matchups, to be fair. Like looking at this, these are all in like playoff contention right now. So, there's always that. But so he's had hard matchups. Don't get me wrong. I think there's some things that could change. Swampert, but I'm surprised he hasn't brought Pinsir yet. He hasn't brought Sigilyph yet either. But yeah, I like this team. Like, this team is a pretty solid team. His Ghost matchup is pretty bad, but right, yeah, -3, -2 to Rock and Dark is also not great. But yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about this team, but I just think that it could do with some trades, I guess. Pittsburgh Steel types. I play them in 2 weeks, I think. Right? Yeah, 2 weeks. Week after next, so we will see you then, right? Corviknight Gmax. I don't love that it can't max Airstream, but Corviknight is still Corviknight. Excuse me. And Corviknight's still Corviknight. He hasn't really been maxing it anyway, so like he's not really losing anything from that. Arcanine has been putting in some serious work. 11 kills is nothing to scoff at. Dragapult, he hasn't been using offensively a ton, so that's why he doesn't have a ton of kills, but he's brought in more than anything. Um, Bolton Mudsdale. Bolton's been doing some cool stuff. He's run physical sets and I think also special sets. He's brought everything except Lanoon and Waylord, which he just picked up. Um, he jumped Clister for Waylord. I don't think this is a like a great trade. I think it's funny and like I like Waylord, so I think it's cool. I don't think he's like 100% concerning himself with like competitiveness here. Otherwise, I don't think he would pick that up. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously this beat up justified combo is one of his signature things, and it's doing well for him. I don't again have much else to say here. Rock'em Sock'ems, we're almost done here. Rock'em Sock'ems are tied with me right now for third. This is Senpai's team. He's also maxed out his trades. Dropped Marowak for Pelipper, which I don't know. I don't know that he needed rain because he also picked up Beartick, which is kind of bad. I like the Virizion Bulu trade. I think dropping Virizion for Bulu was a good thing, and that got freed up by someone else. Was it Curry that had Bulu before? But I like that trade. The rain trade is a little mysterious to me, but I don't 100% disagree with it. I guess. Looking at the team here, he's been getting good work out of Rotom, good work out of Blastoise, Beartick. I mean, hey, Beartick's been doing stuff, so I guess I can't meme. I can't meme about it too hard. Persian is not something you expect to get KOs. Persian Alola is a broken Mon. Um, only thing he hasn't brought is Lickitung, which is not surprising because there's not a ton of weather teams out there in this league. But I like this team. Pretty strong Firewater Grass core um, with Blastoise, Rotom, Heat, and Bulu. Kind of Pelipper. I still don't feel like Pelipper's super needed here, but I don't think it's bad. Alright, two more here. Sandston Scissors. So we played against them, and they're our only loss right now. He's also maxed out his trades. Corsola for Cradily was a strict upgrade. Rotom Frost for Centiskorch was not necessarily a strict upgrade, but I'd say it's still good. And Raikou for Cinderace was also a strict upgrade. I think he did not need Raikou because he has Thundurus. So, I mean, looking at his type matchups are good still. So Urshifu, 13 and 4 is a crazy number. Blastoise 10 and 6 is also a crazy number. He hasn't brought Cinderace yet because he just got it. Scizor, Centiskorch also haven't come. This is a shame, Wolf. This is a shame. Scizor having 0 brings. It's your mascot, bro. You gotta bring it. Yeah, Quagsire not coming is not surprising. It's kind of bad. Cradily he just got. Centiskorch he just got. Scizor is absolutely unacceptable that it's that low on usage. He's had some cool support Espeon sets like without even attacks, which I think is cool. I like that. Cinderace is obviously a great mod. It would be hilarious if he got on the kill leaderboard with it, and there were 2 Cinderaces there. But I don't think that's going to happen because he picked it up halfway through the season. But yeah, again, he's doing really well. I would not be surprised at all if he makes playoffs. And the last one is the Stunfists. So this is a very scary team for me. I am very concerned about playing them. I play them week 8, yeah. So his trades, I think, were decent. Bulu for Celesteela, I think, was good. Celesteela is really good, and Bulu is not great. And then he picked up Appleton to get another grass type, which I think was also good. And without Bulu, Slurpuff didn't really make much sense. So I like those trades. Overall, his team: Colossal, Celesteela, Mimikyu, Volcarona, Inteleon, Zoroark, Appleton, Ice-Cube, Lopunny, Stunfisk, Toxicroak. First of all, This dude is cracked for this. 6 brings, 7 and 5 with Stunfisk. That's crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. I know he's been doing well with it, but I also don't think anyone, even him, would say Stunfisk is a good mon. So it's really cool to see him doing that well with it. Colossal being 9 and 2 is really cool. Mimikyu, he's been using really cool, diverse Mimikyu sets. Like I remember him mentioning Swords Dance. I don't know if he brought it or if he was just talking about it. But he's brought like cool support, bulky support, Trick Room, Shadow Sneak, Weakness Policy sets. Um, Maybe not Weakness Policy because I don't think he has anything to proc it actually. But cool support stuff there. He's actually been getting some cool usage out of Zoroark just to like throw people off, which is basically all Zoroark is good for. Volcarona's been good for him. Lopunny's been cool. Ice-Cube, he did like a snowball, Ice Shard into Snowball Ice-Cube to give it +1 attack. Cool stuff there. Overall, he's been getting usage out of everything except Appletun, which he just picked up, and Bulu, which he had before. He brought that a couple times. So overall, solid team. Definitely like one of the less traditional teams, but a very solid one. And Curry's just great at prep. Like the sets I've seen him bring are wild. So yeah, overall, that's basically my review. A little bit different from how I know Dan did one, and his was a little bit more professional than mine, but he had his front office involved, which is funny to me. I wish I had a front office, dude. But yeah, thanks to the mods for putting this together and like running this so smoothly and making this a great season. Thanks to everyone who's not a mod for just playing well and building cool teams, and I've really enjoyed this season. This has probably been my favorite season of any league so far. I just really enjoy the community, and I enjoy the battles, and I enjoy building and seeing what crazy sets and teams people are bringing. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too long or boring. I know most people are gonna skip to their team anyway, which is totally understandable. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, sorry if this was super long, but yeah, I will see you later this week for my match against KS Knight Rider in the RPDL League and in the VBA against Sasori in the Greedy Greninjas. So take care, everyone.